Hello, passionate Celtic fans. We're back with the latest updates straight from Parkhead, and there's plenty to chat about as we move through January. First of all, let's give a big welcome to all the new subscribers joining the community this week. Your support means the world, and it's brilliant to see so many people keen to follow every twist and turn of the Hoops season. Hail, hail! Now, after the midweek clash against Falkirk, it's time to reflect on how the team is shaping up as we head towards the Scottish Cup tie on Sunday against Oaknock Talbot. It wasn't the prettiest of performances on Wednesday night, but Celtic got the win, and that's what counts. The team showed grit and determination, grinding out a result even when the play wasn't flowing smoothly, which says a lot about the current mentality under Martin O'Neill. As we sit halfway through the January transfer window, attention naturally turns to the hunt for reinforcements, particularly up front. Celtic have made just the one signing so far, which might feel a little light given the expectations, but it's important to remember that January moves are often measured and strategic. The biggest talking point has undeniably been the search for a new striker, with the manager himself openly stating the need for a centre forward. After the win over Falkirk, he didn't shy away from saying that finding a goal scorer is a priority, and the chatter around potential targets has been buzzing ever since. Among the names mentioned, Callum Wilson has emerged as a headline prospect, with reports indicating that Celtic have made an inquiry into the West Ham forwards' availability. The idea is to gauge whether Wilson might be tempted by a move to Glasgow, though the striker is reportedly on the radar of other clubs in England and even in Saudi Arabia, so it's far from a done deal. Wilson is a familiar name to many fans, having spent significant time in the Premier League with Newcastle United and Bournemouth before moving to West Ham last summer. He's 33 years old, bringing a wealth of experience and a proven goal-scoring record, though his career has also been punctuated by injury setbacks, particularly hamstring and back problems. Over the course of the current season, he's featured 17 times for the Hammers in the Premier League, scoring 4 goals, which works out to roughly a goal every 203 minutes on the pitch, a respectable return in one of the toughest leagues in the world. If he can remain fit, there's no question he would bring goals to the Scottish Premiership, but the key concern remains his ability to stay match fit over a demanding campaign. Celtic fans will remember similar scenarios in past seasons where experienced forwards have offered promise but struggled to stay on the pitch consistently, and the challenge is ensuring that any signing complements rather than complicates the squad. Looking at Wilson's style and career trajectory, he's a striker who combines intelligent movement with finishing ability, someone capable of exploiting space in and around the penalty area. His time at Newcastle saw him regularly feature for England, earning 9 caps and scoring a couple of goals between 2018 and 2023. Those years cemented him as a forward who could operate effectively in high-pressure situations, though his injury record has always been a factor clubs need to weigh carefully. At West Ham, he's been playing on what's reported as a pay-as-you-play contract, meaning his weekly earnings are tied to appearances and goals, which is a reflection of both his experience and the club's caution regarding his fitness. Celtic would need to assess not only his quality but also the sustainability of signing a player with a history of muscle injuries, particularly as the squad looks to maintain depth and stability across multiple competitions. While Wilson dominates much of the conversation, other potential targets have been floated. though none seem as prominent in the public eye. For instance, Lyndon Dykes was linked with a move but has now joined Charlton Athletic, removing any immediate concern about him arriving at Parkhead. Another target, Franko Kovic, is reportedly commanding a record fee in Slovenia, which could be a stumbling block given Celtic's cautious approach to mid-season spending. The board seems hesitant to sanction deals without clarity over the long-term direction of the club, especially with managerial and structural considerations still in focus. This cautious approach reflects a broader strategy. While Celtic are undoubtedly seeking reinforcements, the club is conscious of balancing ambition with financial prudence, particularly in a transfer window where options can be limited and costs inflated. Beyond the transfer rumblings, attention is also on the squad itself and how fringe players are faring as the season progresses. Recent training sessions have offered glimpses into which players are in the manager's immediate plans and which may be on their way out. For example, Odin Holm appears unlikely to have a future at Celtic, with discussions suggesting he'll be moving on to another club. Similarly, Adam Montgomery's loan spell at Livingston has been cut short due to a calf injury, which is unfortunately more complicated than initially thought, affecting surrounding muscles and ruling him out for the rest of the season. This recall, however, has freed up funds at Livingston, allowing them to bring in a replacement, highlighting the interconnected nature of loan deals and the ongoing management of player development. Montgomery remains contracted with Celtic until June 2027, a reminder of the long-term plans clubs must juggle, even as short-term squad needs evolve. As the squad prepares for the upcoming Scottish Cup clash, there's an air of cautious optimism. Players like Liam Scales have praised the impact of Martin O'Neill, contrasting it with previous managerial eras where fatigue and overexertion limited effectiveness on the ball. Insights from training suggest that fitness and energy management are priorities under the current regime, with the manager keen to rotate the squad intelligently to handle the demands of league and cup fixtures. This will be particularly relevant as Celtic face tough matches in the weeks ahead, including clashes against Bologna and Hearts, with the latter being a crucial test of squad depth and resilience. The opportunity exists to rest key players while still ensuring the team performs at the required standard, and these tactical decisions will be critical in shaping the remainder of the campaign. Even with uncertainties around transfers and injuries, the atmosphere around Parkhead remains vibrant. Fans continue to rally behind the team, eager to see the Hoops maintain their dominance in Scotland and make progress in cup competitions. There's also a keen interest in how potential new signings could alter the dynamics of the squad, particularly in attack. Whether Celtic pursue an experienced figure like Wilson or look further afield for younger talent, the window of opportunity is narrowing, and decisions made in the next few weeks will have lasting implications. The balance between immediate impact and long-term planning is delicate, and supporters will be watching closely to see if the club can navigate this mid-season period effectively. The focus now shifts to how Celtic manage these challenges on and off the pitch, integrating new players where possible and making strategic choices that support the team's ambitions. It's a period of scrutiny and anticipation where every move in training, every appearance on match day, and every report in the media contributes to the narrative of the season. Fans are engaged not just by the results, but by the stories behind the squad, from injury comebacks to transfer speculation. And this collective experience helps define what it means to be part of the Celtic community in 2026. The energy at Parkhead is palpable, and as the team moves toward the next set of fixtures, The hope is that the right balance of strategy, skill, and fitness will carry the Hoops to further success. Moving on from the transfer talk, there's plenty to unpack regarding Celtic's current squad and how the manager is approaching the second half of the season. Training sessions in the past few days have provided a clear picture of who's in the immediate plans and who may be edging towards the periphery. With players like Stephen Welsh and Odin Holm featuring in sessions for those who didn't start midweek, it's clear that Martin O'Neill is looking to keep everyone sharp while also managing the load on key starters. Holm, in particular, looks like he'll be moving on, as discussions suggest he won't be featuring in Celtic's long-term plans. This highlights an ongoing theme at the club, ensuring the squad remains dynamic and that opportunities are given to players capable of contributing meaningfully in crucial matches rather than holding onto contracts purely for depth. Meanwhile, Adam Montgomery's recall from Livingston has caused a stir, given that he was set to spend the season on loan to gain first-team experience. A calf injury ruling him out for the remainder of the campaign is unfortunate, but Celtic's decision to terminate the loan early has freed up the finances for Livingston to secure a replacement, showing the club's willingness to balance the needs of partner clubs with its own long-term strategies. Montgomery's situation is emblematic of a wider pattern at Celtic, where young players are often loaned out for experience but remain contracted long-term, creating a delicate juggling act between development, squad needs, and injury management. While his injury is disappointing, there remains hope that once he regains fitness, he can make a meaningful impact either at Celtic or elsewhere in the Scottish game. In terms of attacking options, the ongoing dialogue around potential striker signings continues to dominate discussions. Callum Wilson remains a talking point, yet his age and past injuries raise legitimate questions. While he has proven he can find the net, there's an underlying concern about durability. Celtic have seen similar scenarios before, where a forward brings quality but is hampered by fitness issues, and the manager will need to weigh the potential benefit against the risk of having two players competing for the same role, but both struggling to stay on the pitch. It's a balancing act between short-term goal-scoring needs and long-term squad sustainability, and the Hoops board will need to make shrewd decisions to avoid repeating past mistakes with high-profile but injury-prone recruits. Beyond striker speculation, Celtic's midfield and defensive lines are shaping up as well. Players returning from minor knocks or rotations are integrating back into the squad, with training sessions showing promising intensity. Liam Scales' comments about energy management under the previous managerial regime are revealing, suggesting that fatigue played a significant role in moments where the team faded during matches. Under O'Neill, the emphasis on managing physical exertion while maintaining tactical sharpness seems to be paying off, allowing key players to remain effective late into games. This approach is crucial as the schedule intensifies with cup fixtures and league challenges, ensuring that Celtic can compete on multiple fronts without overloading their main contributors. Looking ahead to the Scottish Cup match against Oaknock Talbot, there's an opportunity for Celtic to rotate effectively and give fringe players a chance to shine while still securing a solid result. The depth of the squad will be tested, particularly with important fixtures looming against Bologna and Hearts. O'Neill's challenge is to find the right balance between rest and performance, allowing key players to recover while ensuring that the Hoops continue to dominate their opponents. Tactical rotations may be subtle, with some changes in personnel, but the priority remains clear: control possession, create chances, and convert opportunities into goals while maintaining defensive stability. The situation also raises questions about long-term planning for Celtic. With the January window midway, the club must weigh the merits of bringing in experienced players versus investing in younger talent ready to make a step up. Historically, the Hoops have found success nurturing emerging talent, bringing in players from smaller clubs who can thrive in the Scottish Premiership and eventually move to higher levels. The prospect of signing an older, established forward like Wilson is tempting for immediate returns, but it may not align with the broader philosophy of developing assets capable of sustaining performance over multiple seasons. It's a classic dilemma between instant impact and strategic growth, and fans will be keenly observing how the club navigates this critical period off the pitch. There's also a sense of community and engagement building around the club. Supporters are actively following developments, reacting to training updates, injuries, and potential signings. The conversations extend beyond match days, highlighting a passion that fuels the atmosphere at Parkhead and across Scotland. Fans' expectations are high, but there's also an appreciation for the complexities involved in squad management, particularly during a compressed winter schedule. Celtic's approach to loan recalls, injury management, and potential transfers demonstrates a careful orchestration designed to keep the team competitive while balancing financial responsibility and player welfare. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Whispers are swirling through the corridors of European football, and the noise is getting louder around Glasgow. A shock move is being quietly discussed, one that could ripple far beyond the Scottish Premiership. Sheamus Coleman, long respected for his leadership, resilience, and nous on the right flank, is said to be seriously considering a dramatic step by agreeing to a wage cut in order to push through a move to Celtic with immediate effect. Sources close to the situation suggest that this is less about money and more about legacy. Coleman's name still carries weight in dressing rooms across the continent, and the idea of pulling on the green and white Hoops appears to have struck a chord. Celtic's recruitment strategy has increasingly mixed experience with hunger, and Coleman fits that profile almost too neatly. He would not arrive as a flashy gamble, but as a proven professional who understands pressure, expectation, and the demand to win every time you step onto the pitch. Inside Celtic Park, there is a growing belief that such a signing could be about influence as much as ability. Coleman is known as a dressing room organizer, someone who sets standards in training and holds teammates accountable. For a club with European ambitions and a relentless domestic environment, that kind of presence is priceless. The fact that he is reportedly willing to trim his salary only fuels the sense that this is a move driven by footballing desire rather than comfort. Skeptics, of course, will question whether the deal is too good to be true. Age, fitness, and adaptation to the Scottish game are all part of the conversation, yet others point out that Celtic have a history of revitalizing seasoned players who still have plenty to offer when given responsibility and trust. The tempo, the atmosphere, the expectation to dominate, and these are not foreign concepts to Coleman. For now, everything remains in the realm of rumor, exchanged in hushed tones between agents, intermediaries, and club insiders. But if this bombshell gathers momentum, it could become one of those moves that nobody saw coming, yet somehow makes perfect sense the moment it happens. In Glasgow, fans are watching closely. knowing that sometimes the biggest statements begin with a quiet, "What if?" Hello, fan, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.